Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk. When I see 100 of you there, we'll talk. Join. Let's have a chat. This is what I go correct because I go talk longer, you know. Come on. If I see 60 people, we'll talk. 27. Let's go. Share. I want to feel at home. While I scratch my eyes, it's not corona, you know. Share. We have 54. Share. Just 100 people. That's 54. Just 100 people we talk. 100 people share. What I want to say here is very important, and I don't intend hurting any person. The people I think should be hurt or should take their responsibilities. I don't intend disrespecting anybody, but I also think that we need to face the facts. Is my volume good? There's this air conditioner making noise. If it's disturbing you, tell me to put it off, please. If the AC is disturbing you, tell me to put it off. 81, we're almost starting. If this AC is disturbing you, tell me to put it off. I am not seeing any messages. I hope, can somebody drop a message? Let me see if it's okay to talk and maybe read what you're saying there. Or people have not started. I'm starting immediately because we are 90-something. 90-something people, a couple of seconds, I'm sure we'll get to 100. All right, put that AC off for a while. Let's see if we don't have any noise coming from anywhere. If I need it, you put it on. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here because of something very important. Big Brother 237. Big Brother 237. Big Brother Nigeria has existed. Big Brother South Africa has existed. Big Brother Germany has existed. When it started, people were asking why the name Big Brother. Come on, it's been a dream for years that I wanted to do Big Brother here. We tried, even with the present Prime Minister here when he was still Minister in charge of Commonwealth. I had met him on how we could get this stuff here. So I had lots of ideas. But when other people brought it, I said, okay, it's time, let it work. And I tried to give my support. Yeah, I remember I've gone right to the Ministry of External Relations before, when the Prime Minister now used to be the Minister of Commonwealth, because by then my whole idea was DSTV, which of course, Multi-Choice Africa, which of course is a Commonwealth idea. But right now we are there and we need to get it. I'm talking here because I want to start by saying that I don't think anybody has over Big Brother 237 because it carries 237. It is my product, it is your product. And if this thing works, it is our product. And it has to work and it has to keep going on. If it fails, we have failed. If it fails, the Nigerians will go on and say we are a baby industry. If it doesn't work, we sit here, criticize, and don't bring up ideas. We will stay at one point. That is the reason why for a long time I decided to come live with facts. And I will not hurt or try by every possible means not to hurt any person, but to build up some analytic review of what I saw yesterday and what I saw in the first party that was done by the same organizers. Our leaders who are leading for now, this should be an open enterprise in future that anybody will be willing or should be willing to buy shares from. I think so. So this is the reason I'm here today. I have a couple of points which we shall start from the present management of Big Brother Cameroon. We shall get to the follow-up, which I think has been the biggest problem we've had. We shall get to the line of hyping sponsors. Remember, I put it here, big names, now then they miss penalty. Let me just put it there for sponsors. When we get there, I'll highlight that. And let me also remind you the disrespect of minor sponsors. We shall also be discussing what happened to the ambassadors. Because Big Brother did not start now. We had the announcement party and there were two ambassadors, Tizi Pancha and Soli. It will still fall under the follow-up. We We had a problem with the venue yesterday, which was embarrassing, and also the TV broadcast. No TV station broadcast for 7 hours because you people did not come on time, or because the organizers did not start on time, and it will not work if that mentality does not change. It is not because maybe we have a TV station that is willing to help or work and broadcast for 7 hours. That's a lot of money. But nobody watches TV for 7 hours on a particular program. We shall talk about camera setting that we discovered was a problem yesterday. And another thing that really affected me was the ill treatment of the contestant. You can't come to watch heroes, people you want to make stars, and they are standing in front of a bar, which is the hall, with Nangambokos, and they call them, you show them on TV, whereas they are standing outside. They are not respected. I mean, the people you come to celebrate are the people we are not respecting. These are the first people you meet at the entrance, standing and hanging there. And there is a hotel directly opposite the place where they could sit there, and they call them to come. And I believe that was gross disrespect. You do not want to illuminate, you don't want to push stars by putting them on the road. They are not desperate. You are not desperate. You can only succeed in becoming a star when you make stars. This guy who does, I don't know his name, this guy who is doing British Got Talent and the rest, he's a huge person because he makes stars. And if you got into the position that you want to make stars, you must stand by the rules, keep the stars as standard. That's one of the things we'll be discussing. The value of the people you consider the big brother, you've already selected them. You must add value to their personality. We shall be talking on the different methods of hosting events, because I realize also that there are many different methods in hosting events. There's a different way of hosting a musical concert. There's a different way of hosting a nomination concert. There's a different way an MC talks on an award concert. There's a different way which could be poetic. And all is written when you are talking on an introductory program like the one we had yesterday. So these are the points we will bring up. Now, I want to start by going first to this. Management, kudos, you've been doing a good job, but the job is not good yet enough. I don't want to blame you because it's just the beginning, but I'm here to propose some few things to you. I start with my personal self. Management, when we had the first introductory meeting a couple of months ago, a couple of us were there, Nene, Emade, who gave money and pledged money. We criticized, and I told you, we are not the rich people. We are just the celebrities. Put that AC on. We are just the celebrities. And so you go gate people who have money. Many months passed by. No official letter ever came to me to thank me for the 50,000 I gave and the 50,000 I promised to give. Nobody ever came by for the 6 days I promised I was going to give food to the contestants of the Big Brother. I tried reaching out to the manager many times, but each time he came to the restaurant and ate, that is when he thought we could have a meeting, and I told him, we will have an official meeting when you call me, and this way have a meeting. And it was so passive, and each time my biggest embarrassment was on the day that these children went into that confinement, 2 hours before, that is when they called me that they had to get supper. Months after, no follow-up. 2 hours before that, for an event that somebody is going to win 10 million, that the whole nation is at stake, the management called me 2 hours to time. I still struggled, and that's how we had the thought that they had to come to eat. We struggled and we put food for them to eat, and I started building the evaluation. I tried calling again for another meeting. He was so busy with the big companies, so busy on the phone. I'm so busy. There were meetings till at midnight, and I was waiting to see the results of this meeting on the opening day with the so-called big names, the company that you were running through with, and I still did not get it. And I was the one that was calling. I started calling Fred Keante now, who is also part of it, but abroad, who now sent some other person to manage food because I could not even handle the idea on how the food was being managed and who would call it and what would happen. Now, some ladies came in and they started working with me. Not to give a pride, whatever. I gave a boss to carry this, to help carry the food of contestants. which after that, I think they're still using it, and I'm not here to report that, but I will get back to this particular point, which could be minor, but very important. I called a couple of the other people who made pledges that day, if there have been any follow-up, if they have had any letter of acknowledgement, like a company writes that, oh, we received 100,000 from you on this night, we wanted to remind you that you promised 100,000, or thank you very much for the gift you gave us last time. Till now, I don't have. I've called a couple of those people that made pledges that night, they don't have. So, not to criticize these people, there was supposed to be a follow-up from that first meeting, or that first show where all these children were introduced, until this 4 months after. How come the faces who were in the first meeting, the day you introduced the whole idea, were not the same faces who were on the nomination day? Which means there was no follow-up. You have had 2 different categories of followers. The followers that followed you the first day you had the idea, it was in a better, bigger, huge hall, but that better, bigger, huge hall did not have cameras. Maybe the world would have realized that you were organized that day. That better, bigger, huge hall, I think it's the hall at La Falaise in Bonajo. Beautiful hall for an insignificant party, to launch the idea. Beautiful people. Where were these people? Where were those ambassadors you showed us that day? Where were those people who were supposed to stand in the front? In the second tier of the game, I did not see them. I saw a total different set of people coming up, which means I still insist there was no follow-up from the first meeting. Management, we plead with you. Big Brother Cameroon is for all of us, and we beg with you that you shall start doing follow-up from every statement that was made yesterday. Be it positive, critical, or negative. You will do follow-up. Once you follow up, people make promises, and if you do not follow up, it will not come. Follow-up is not by telephone. Follow-up is by writing, email, or a letter, reminder, so that you have a copy. That's how you follow up when you're doing this kind of a business that is public, so that you prove it. Like I'm arguing, if you want to say, where is the accountability? What is the proof that I'm not giving the rest of the other 50,000 I promised? Because there's no follow-up, there's no letter that came up and said, thank you for this and we need this. Once there is that follow-up, you honorably have to honor your promise. I still line up against management, which of course, we are friends, but remember, being management, there are loopholes in what concerns all of us. Sometimes I have personally called you up for meetings and you've been so busy, and each time you're too busy, the answer is meeting with big companies that I didn't see plenty of effect of yesterday. Organizational meetings, come, let's discuss, and they are always bigger meetings. I saw the big meetings yesterday. I saw the results of the fact that you were having better meetings than the meetings that other lay people could give you ideas, or you work on them. What is the scare about? Some people may want to steal the idea or what? It's a general idea that's existed in the whole world, but now we have to implement it to our own culture. It's very embarrassing what I'm about to say right now. That I know through the management, some other management fellows, and they brought in another partner that I know, and the other partner was by my side, and we're talking, and Fred, who flew in from Germany, who also is part of the beginning of this idea, who might not have even been introduced on the stage, was by me, and I was telling him, hey, this other partner, he said, no, I've not met George. Then I'm the one in the meeting who was introducing 2 partners, and they said he met on the phone. So when you landed here, was there no meeting to say, this is this man, even if it's 5 minutes, to say, these are the people we're working with? Now, if at that level, there was no meeting, so then what about the contestants? Is there any meeting and hope for them? They will have to be that meeting, because you will take that responsibility, because this thing has to work. It's already out there, so he has to work for the reputation of all of us. He has to work. Everybody has to put energy, and we have to get to call a spade professionally and try to make the things right. I want to think that at a certain point, we minimized a lot of other minor companies. This is my second point. I personally have been a lover of this idea when it came up. I wanted to do all. I'm not a rich person, but the first pledges were done by us and were not many. The first pledges in money, we put it. Mine was small. The 100 that I paid 50, that the other 50 has not been followed up. I paid it on stage. I promised to feed, or not feed, that's a negative word, to give food to the Big Brother contestants when the house was ready. They got here, I gave some of the food. I begged and gave a car, a bus to carry them. My delivery bus was fixed to carry them. Would you believe that no follow-up went on, and that occasion ran for 7 hours without my company being mentioned, because they have brought in so-called huge companies? My company was on the billboards, but then psychologically, how do you feel? How do you want me to come in? How do you want me to come in? Let me tell you and push a bit now to the third point, which goes on company policies. Sometimes when you start a business, you work with those small companies that you trust, because big companies, they want gains. They have already made their names, and they have policies, and these policies are being built in December because they prepare their policies per year. You do not penetrate within the year and catch big money from companies like MTN or Brasseries. They'll give you the chaffs. Why? Because you were not part of their budget. Now, if you bring proof that you have an event which is well organized, that's why they're watching you now. They want to see if you're well organized, then they'll come now and pump it. They do not pump money because they love you. They pump money because they want to sell their product. My case is because I love it. They want to sell their products, and they want to be sure that you can make them sell their products. MTN was there yesterday. You heard them talk. We are coming to support you technically. They didn't explain technical support. A lot of people at the end will come back and start hitting MTN. You didn't give the 10 million. They made their statement technically. They may bring up money. But remember, before a company wants to get that money, there's usually, for that kind of real sponsor, there's usually a general assembly meeting, because the general manager doesn't just take that decision. They put it in a budget, and that budgetary session does not hold every day. It holds maybe once a year in December. And when they succeed with you, and for the first time, if they succeed and put you in their budget, then you can have that budget for every year if you succeed. How do they know that you succeed? They allow you for the first year. They come and they do the technical support, and they push it bit by bit and see if you can stand it. Go to Bontek, that young guy is doing good. Because you see, Orange was with him, they followed up, and now he can have yearly sponsor, no matter how small. They will come in, they will see if you're ready, they will see if you're mature, they will see if all these management things. I'm sorry, this is not the meeting I was supposed to be having here, it's because I've called for this meeting more than once. They will see all those things, then now they will plug in money. That money is not only because they want the project to succeed, it's also because they want to make money out of the money. How do they make money? That's what you should think about, the people you're calling in as your sponsors. They are coming in as sponsors. How do they make money? And so you get money. See at all those adverts that were passing yesterday. The adverts were not just passing there. They were passing on TV. They were passing on internet. Who was gaining? It is those companies. You passed their adverts. The thousands of people you gathered who were watching, they were gaining. What did you gain? I don't know yet. But let me let you know that those so-called big companies with those meetings, you have to take your time and measure on how to get them. You realize most of what they spoke about yesterday, the gambling company, which of course could be a very good partner here, because it's a starting company in Cameroon, and you can match up with them if they are putting the cards on the table, because that kind of a company that is new, and you're new, you put your cards on the table. MTN is already established. What you do with them is prove to them that you can handle this thing for years, and they'll put their own cards on the table after their meeting. Right now, they're coming to watch you, and everything they do there, they put it down so that they will discuss it in a meeting in December when they are preparing their budget. In December, that usually budgetary period to prepare. That is when they will go there and say, oh, somebody will bring up the idea, Biggie, and they will bring out all the documents to see, all the videos to see, all what they gained to see if they will now prepare a huge budget that could be yearly. Look at the last, I read somebody was saying this. You get a Castile beer to come and sponsor on occasion, and Castile small drink is sold on that occasion for 3,000. I mean, the small bottle of Castile, which is definitely about 250 or 300 out there. You have a sponsor who comes now, makes it, oh, I don't know if it's a sponsor. You decide to, you are killing either that product or the show. People have come for a Castile and you're selling a small bottle of drink for 3,000 and it's a sponsor, whereas that drink is being sold outside for 300. I'm talking about a very small bottle. Or if you're selling a small bottle of Coke for 2,000, whereas that drink is 150 outside and it's a sponsor, how does that make sense? So how are we, the smaller sponsors, more stupid or what? When we don't have even acknowledgement from you on stage, or any acknowledgement from you on TV, because we are small, but we are doing the petty jobs. It is not those big sponsors who give the van. It is not those big sponsors who are promising, oh, still carry food to your people. I just wanted to let you understand that, in quotes, quote me anywhere, in pidgin, now big name they miss penalty. Now that big football player they need to score. Now they miss penalty. They play all football, but now big name they miss penalty. Walk with the people you can walk slowly with that you trust and go ahead. I'm not stopping you from anything, but I'm telling you these people are in for business and you have to prepare them. Because when they are coming with load, they will only feed their load when they know they have something to gain. No company will come and invest in a project that they realize will fail. No director of production will come and put money, no director in the company, in something that they will finally associate that he failed with his name. So they have to first of all test how ready you are. If the director said they will sack you. That is why some of the times you think that some of the directors are wicked. No. It is because they themselves want to keep their job. And they want to make sure it works. Another abomination that went through this that really I couldn't say. I hear that this one in quotes, that even one of these companies, Zibrazaris, decided to give you or us an event planner. How do you have an idea like this and overnight within 2 weeks? You get an event planner. This is an Anglo-Saxon idea which has been running on the idea of DSTV, and an event planner with a total different mentality comes to take this event. It is us who have always sat here and criticized Canal Door. And today, the same mentality of those events. You get an event planner that comes, and I was shocked to hear that there was an event planner. If there was an event planner, then why were the MCs running from backstage to front stage to corner stage? Things that are supposed to be handled by an event planner. What was the event planning in that event? I'll give you my experience in one of the biggest shows I ran. That was the Ebola relief concert in Washington. It was of Black Americans and folks on the jazz. At backstage, I will tell you how did I run that event. I went there as second MC, and when I held the microphone, the first MC, a Black American guy, said he had never seen a guy like me. He will help. I'll be first MC. That story was on that year. It was everywhere. This is how it runs. You sit on the stage. You are not the stage manager. They call you up, tell you, write what you're going to say, and you go up and say. There are 3 people lined up for this kind of a big occasion behind there. One is to keep telling you what you are going to say and who is coming next. The second one is arranging the person, because they called artists yesterday, they were going to look for them far. Whereas somebody's TV is, somebody is spending money on satellite and putting that thing on air, they are looking for a musician who is sitting somewhere, which means nobody informed that musician that you are the next person to come on stage. Whereas that person who is supposed to be next to come on stage is already held, put, and seated somewhere to only move and get up. And schooled on how long he's going to take, 3-4 minutes. That we did not see it. By the time the MC is introducing some person and going back, they don't see MCs in the crowd. MCs are idols of a show. After they finish talking, they go back inside. Then the event planner is sending whoever is going inside. You don't see the event planner's face. They only send people and remove people. By the time the MC is coming, the other person, the stage manager, first stage manager, is telling MC, either we are changing or this one is coming up next. You're going to put it this way. The lady will come first. The man will come second. And you will talk. We didn't see that coordination. I'm coming back to MCs because we have to go break that one too. Now, we were also found this problem. Like I said from the beginning, that where were some of the people who attended the first show? And how come that they were not there for the second show? In the first show, which was the introduction of this idea, that took place in a better hall at this hotel in Bonaprise and in Bonanjo, La Falaise of Bonanjo, it was made clear that there were two ambassadors for this project. Soli Egbe, Tizi Panchak. These ambassadors were introduced to us as ambassadors. Were introduced to the social media as ambassadors for this year's 237 Biggy. They were not mentioned yesterday and they were nowhere to be found yesterday, which means there was no follow-up. I keep saying this thing of follow-up, which means after the 4 or 5 months, there was relaxation and people did not follow up. The organizers did not go to follow up. Ambassador, are you ready? What do we do? Noni was making a video today and said he had lots of discussion. They said they will call him back in 2 minutes and they didn't call back. That's exactly that was happening. There was no follow-up. If you want to go there, they will have their own motives. I don't want to bring them here, but if you go now to Soli, something must have happened. If you go now to Tizi, something must have happened, which means they didn't have any concrete agreements. If they had concrete agreements, these ambassadors would have been there. So who are these ambassadors? I didn't see the ambassadors. Let me explain something to you here. I am one of those, maybe the only person who may have watched this show in 2 places. I watched this show yesterday at Denise Entertainment venue, or Indies Entertainment Lounge, where we put all the 7 television sets there on Big Brother Cameroon. And I was there with General Toxic and Awilo, who had just left the station. They would tell me how the station looked like. And from there, I already knew the trouble because I was there present 2 hours after. For 2 hours, I stayed, I had dinner, I took a bottle of drink while watching people enter there from TV. It was everywhere and we were talking. Then I started having the problem of psychologically already. You realize each time people entered there, they disappeared. Was there no camera to turn and face that disappearing? Yes, not the camera's people's fault. It's because of the venue. This venue was too tight and short. It wasn't like a hall, which means you had to displace lots of cameras. And if you had to displace those cameras with different angles, the lights would have been disturbing people. So I can understand why TV didn't have to show the crowd or the back part of the bar. The focus now had to be there, which of course you would see an MC will not go to the back. That's why you had to see Vicky's shoes, because that was supposed to be done at the backstage, but there was no backstage. This backstage was the front stage. Because yes, MC, they remove shoes where they don't tight for their foot. We remove them for backside, they even take air, fan. But then there wasn't a backstage. So if everything stood like that, what do you expect an MC who is standing there for 3 hours? At a certain moment, you get mad. I'm not saying that all what she may have done they were correct, but they were supposed to be a backstage. How come the first venue that we went there was far better, a big hall that was just to introduce the idea? Then the second venue is a snack for projection. So before I left here, I saw 2 things. One straight line, the red carpet, that was not used as a red carpet, because that red carpet is where the cameramen were moving. I was seeing them and I was asking my man that, is this a red carpet? Then I saw Nabil. That's when I left. I said Nabil was already there. I still went there 30 minutes after. I saw people passing. The celebrities were passing on that red carpet. Camera people were passing on that red carpet. The bar people were passing on that red carpet. How does that carpet now red? How is that carpet red now? How is that carpet important? And that carpet was where one camera was standing and filming everybody passing on one carpet, and one other camera was standing and filming a small group there. They were People behind her will never film the crowd, but this camera was filming a certain lady that I went there. I even told Nabil that's the girl that's on TV, and I saw you pass here, Nabil, because that one straight red carpet was there, not made public. Cameramans were dragging their. Have you ever seen a cameraman on international TV before? People whom, of course, are behind the camera and maybe they are not supposed to dress with suit. Have you seen them? And so how was that carpet red? Venue, which is a problem, again, which was one of the biggest problems and caused a lot of problem here, did not have feedback. I am saying that we were watching, a lot of people in that hall did not know that thing was live. I told Nabil, be careful, this thing is live. Samandango did not know it was live, but I had watched it 2 hours before I came to the show. So which means the venue itself, they didn't tell the people to connect to Swecom. How do you come and you get partnership and you do not promote the other people, which is Swecom? All TVs in that room were not supposed to be football. It was supposed to be Biggy TV. That is why there was no feedback. The MC would have seen her shoes. There wasn't any feedback. Majority of the people there did not know that the TV was going live. It's because I had watched it, and all TVs at my place were focused on it. That's when I knew it. That's even why I knew how to get into that carpet and hide. Because psychologically I had already seen everything from there. But then, in that place, they were not connected to the Swecom TV. They were not connected even with the other partners. How do you expect people there now to even have seen themselves? The people in the bigger hall behind were totally out of the thing, and they were VIP. They were totally out. Even if you want to keep them out, they would have connected to the Swecom TV, let them also be watching what's going on. Those are the small things we have to fix. If they insist on using that venue or any other venue, remember, you have to connect live TV there. The station, the television station that is broadcasting the idea has to be on every TV there. But it was unfortunate that the television station, or they were instead football matches distracting people in the other rooms, they were instead other things, instead of the main thing that people came there to see, which is Biggy Cameroon. How then do you expect perfection? So it was the whole idea. The venue is a very beautiful place. I don't have any problem. I know the venue. I'm talking about the venue and the event. Don't tell me that I'm saying that the venue is not good. That venue no fine for that particular kind of event. That particular kind of event, they be in a hall, one big stage. All man focus for that one big stage. They put something for back the stage where door and they where MC they go for back, go meet up studio manager, they discuss only come out, then change clothes come out. Then big hall day, that's so they do that kind of event. Then now the big hall, if we put round table, then they put small juice and something, and people she don't they discuss, then they look for up, then they light them. Wait to be used for that big LED screen. That big LED screen, if you be put up inside that kind of hall, you see that big LED screen, instead finally can daylight background, you take light for camera, put on top another light, how it feel beautiful. But if you get that big LED screen for middles of hall with other decoration like they do before that day camera don't be there, you will see how beautiful that stage will be. But right now, see, this way, that way, you won't blame who? Coming back to this thing where they go now for the next thing when the broadcast. The broadcast, this thing, it's never, I don't know if it happened, even for Web Trade Center. That way it happened. They don't need to do broadcast for 7-8 hours. The coverage. It's not because that you people had an opportunity, that you had a TV station, that you will go and use them to broadcast for 8 hours. Broadcast when sleepers is passing. Broadcast when stars are passing. And this was because of one thing. Back to this organization and follow up. And you, the visitors didn't come on time. Stars were making phone calls. Is it ready? Let me come. And everybody was start there. They're making phone calls. They're supposed to start. When do you think stars could come? So it's finally a product for 5 o'clock. Have you ever heard that Big Brother time changes on TV? It's 1 hour. Have you ever heard that Big Brother Niger changes on TV? It's 1 hour. When they say 7 o'clock, all important stars are seated. Now they said 5 o'clock, our own important stars. Now 10:30. You know, in Cameroon, it's not even the celebrities who are stars. It is the followers of celebrities who are stars. Then in Cameroon too, another idea of stars is when you're rich and you have a big car, no matter where it comes from, you are the celebrity. That's what the women celebrate. That's what the men follow. And they will come at that time. So TV, you know how much they pay for 1 minute on satellite broadcast? For 7 hours, they are there waiting for people to come, and you don't even have to blame the organizers here too much, because except they insisted, because maybe they should be blamed too. When they say 6 o'clock of broadcast, it's 6 o'clock of broadcast. When they say 9 o'clock of broadcast, it's 9 o'clock of broadcast. There could be other shows, there could be people coming in from 6, 7, 8, 9, but that particular time that has been announced for broadcast is the time for broadcast. Yes, they don't need to show people come, they could show a bit of red carpet, but if they say broadcast is 9 to 10, broadcast is 9 to 10. Broadcast cannot be from 5 to 1 a.m. How do you say that? How? You are bound to make errors. The studio director is bound to make errors. Even when the president of this country is going out where you have the highest camera crew, it's not for 7 hours. Even for 28 minutes, it's not for 8 hours. You're bound to make errors. You're bound to get confused at a certain point. You're bound because you want to blame, because on normal broadcasting, how did the camera fall on the female MC? I guess she put the microphone on her chest, on her breast or so. Then I hear that some other MC or the female MC removed her shoes. Camera people, if they were not tired, they would cut it. You wouldn't even see it, because there would have been 5 different cameras, and the studio manager or the director changes that camera and it's not good for your viewing. Those things happen. But at a certain point where it has become bogus, people are working for 8 hours, the cameraman too needs to maybe go get a break. He came there to work for 2 hours. You people decided to come late. He got dragged, and turns out to be chaos, which will not happen again, because all those rules will follow. I've been waiting to see one professional picture, yet because nobody snapped me, I didn't see any cameraman snap me there. I'm waiting to see one professional picture. I hope, because I didn't go to the backdrop of the red carpet, I hope there was a professional cameraman there, because I didn't see one where we were sitting. For posterity of this kind of things, there's supposed to be a discharge of professional pictures that are supposed to be online by now. Yes, to cover up. But I did not know. Maybe I missed the point. Maybe I didn't see this. Maybe it was done before I came or what. But I know that for a coverage of this sort, it's not only done before one comes. It's been covered throughout the occasion. 2, 3 specialized cameramen on still picture are supposed to be taking pictures individually, face to face. Take this person, take this person. Every contestant had to be taken on stage on one picture. I saw even on their main pictures there, somebody asked me that it was General it wasn't a professional photographer to have taken pictures that I see, but amateur. They're supposed to take those pictures. Even when they're on stage, they're supposed to take those pictures. I am sorry for the contestants, because they passed through a lot of hell. They passed through a lot of hell yesterday. I'll get back to their own point. Hell on stage, hell backstage. But I'm so sure this will, by the end of this discussion, you'll realize that we need to succeed in this thing. We have to make sure that those contestants there for now will be respected. Let their background and their backstories not be brought to light because they are now struggling to become stars. I met with them. There are so many talented people there. Now, I didn't know I was already entering into this point of the contestants and how they are supposed to become stars. Now, we went and selected about 50 people, brought them down to 25 the best, all talented people. Then what is so difficult to give them value? For the sake of value, just for the sake of value. What is so difficult to give them that taste of stardom? The contestants of Biggy237, it's the last time that they should have this kind of treatment. At the entrance of this venue, they were standing on the road. And they will call them, and they will now pass a march to a stage. Then psychologically, they were already defeated because at the stage, they were not free to express their talent because of intimidating questions. Everybody had planned on something to say, and let them say it. Now, they are standing outside there for all these hours. Beside them are the Nangambokus, my friends. They are all of the Nangambokus. Yesterday we had a celebration when I got there. They picked me up from the car. They are my people from Aqua in those days. Now, beside them are these Nangambokus. Then the stars that we have come to see are standing outside. The faces that we are supposed to hide and show them only when they come up before we clap are standing outside. With a little bit of mix again with all the quarantine we talked about, if that's what we should criticize, which is of course not supposed to be here. But then, ask me this. How do you create your own Michael Jackson? How do you create your own Bobby Brown? If you cannot respect the very people you have selected, that they are the stars that they're going to be, you don't even necessarily need to do important things like playing a song these days to become a star, or like being the best actor to become a star. You need just to become Bobrisky and you're a star. So these are my own people who are talented. If Bobrisky is respected, then these people that we want to show as our own stars, you keep them at the entrance of a hall or a snack that you have come to showcase them to the world, and they are the first people that you audience come out of your cars or taxis and see standing. What impression are you giving about these folks? These folks that were supposed to be the golden icons on this particular event, hidden somewhere, their dresses are already seen by everybody who gets into that hall. The familiarity, they are greeting people, why you don't come on the stars you want to project. You keep them at the corner that everybody sees on an entrance. No, this one is the one that angered me. Where is the value of the people we want to project? How do we valorize these people? How do we choose 25 people we want to make them stars? 1 minute, get some water, please. How do you valorize people in that kind of a situation? How do we get this, our crushes, I don't know those names in Nigeria, who have become millionaires after they left the house, when somebody will say, now that peculiar party stand for near that door to wave me. How do you valorize them? We have suffered this thing and we are getting out of it. We cannot allow these other people to suffer this thing. Next time, take the 25, if there will still be 25 when we meet them next, take them, make them very important, seal them, keep them in some air-conditioned room out of the venue. They only come backstage when they are ready to go up. They feel intimidated backstage. They feel intimidated front stage. How do you valorize them? How do you valorize them? Some will get frustrated in a couple of days and you hear fights in that place. And then, since we were brought by a negative kingdom, hallelujah, the Facebook will start firing. Peter has fought James. You do not know the psychological pressure you have put them from the very first day. You are waiting to see the failure so that we will grip them and start talking of them. I'm right here talking about some of the failures too, but I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being a bit angry and trying to be smiling at the same time. I'm being factual. So, I think this thing, as I've been telling you, it's for all of us. The team may not have all that money. The team may not have all these ideas. But I personally feel abandoned that I had to call the management more than 3 times for a meeting to give these ideas to them or to him. These ideas were not supposed to be given here. These ideas were supposed to be these. But at a certain point, what do you people think MTN is all empty? You think they have all the sense? I have visited big stages. We have stars here who didn't come, who have visited big stages. What do you think if you get, because why do we hate our own? Why? Because somebody just came and he called you up. It's a gambling business. They go, we have sponsors. We have important meetings. Which meetings? And this is not the same companies we have meetings with and we know what can come. The company wants its own money. How do you make it work? Come, let's make it work so that the company can give all of us money. The company will not give you cash if you do not make it work. Now, why don't you get to the experts? Like I said in the post that I finally withdrew, that it can work, but we have to put the right places, the right people at the right places. I don't want to be there, but I want to be an advisor. Like it or not, I'm imposing myself. And if those meetings are called, they can't come, I will get here and talk. I don't want to be on the front line, but I want to be a risk bearer in the advice section of this thing. Let it be that my own ideas, when it fails, they say that my idea failed. Yes, this company will not give you any 100 million now. They will only give you 200 million if you come back and all of us, show business people, sit and organize it and give it back to them. Then there will be no way, because they will know that they are putting in 100 million to us and they'll make 200 million. That's why they do it. That's why Nigeria has an advantage, because of a population that will buy even airtime that night. We don't have a population. We don't even have a followership in our own. We hate ourselves. It's difficult for companies to invest because they always want to get the returns. No company has any money. Forget that thing that they say social, whatever. They don't have any money to give you. They have invested. They don't have any money to give you. You need to prove to them that this thing is going to be sustainable. You need to prove to them that this thing has posterity. You need to prove to them that there is a future on what you're doing. That's when they start putting in the money. Now, okay, we'll shame them. Oh, they didn't put money here, but then, oh, the social water responsibility, they need to do it. Nobody does social responsibility at this level. They'll prefer to go and do it to the handicaps. They'll prefer to go and do it to the underprivileged. But when they get back to people like us, they want to invest in business that they will make money out of it. How do they invest in business that they will make money out of it? It's coming back to the drawing tables, and you and I build a platform that is good for them so that they can make 200 million and give us 100 million. They are not coming for you. They are not charity. Now, with all this that we have had today, how shall they give us the 100 million? How will they make the 200 million? And it cannot be now, because this is an evaluation period, an evaluation epoch or an evaluation period for what the project you have put in front of them. So they have taken that project, they have sent their spies to come and give reports on exactly how the organization is going on. And those reports are taking place today in their offices, Monday. Good ticks. They'll give you another chance next week to see if you'll be better. They'll give you another chance, and if you're better, they give you another chance as you're good. When they are holding their evaluation meeting in December, they will now put you for next year's budget. So don't expect too much, and also we going there, we shouldn't expect too much. That's the reason why I'm still telling you, you have to come. Don't neglect us small sponsors. I was not even mentioned, which of course I knew. I didn't even, it's just because I love it, I had to go there. I knew I was not to be mentioned. I knew that our so-called mentality, that when we see big companies or big people, we now decide to break the other ones. I knew it was going to happen. It wasn't a shock to me. But then, we build. I've told you, take note, there is this gambling company or this bet company that's it. What would that company work? Because it's a starting company, so they have the same problems like you. That kind of a company that you're starting, you can start together and move and build clauses. It's a starting company in the country, you're a starting company, you match up together a better bet. If you want to rely on already made companies, I don't tell when I'm a big player that they miss penalty. Because they will not, the person who is in charge does not want to spoil his name, so he will hardly give the last signature if he is not sure that the company will not be disgraced at a certain point. Let's get to hosting, which has been the major story on the social media. Hosting has been the major story on the social media today because that is what you saw. But I'm telling you about, that's what you saw as the final product on TV. But I've been trying to give you analysis from the corners. But what was presented to you is what you're criticizing. Hosting has different flares, different categories, different methods, different esophagus talk, different closeness to microphone. I realized that even the 25 contestants were not trained on how to get to talk on the microphone. Have you ever seen a contestant in Big Brother Nigeria who did not have primary training on microphone? All their voices were low. All their voices were low. You had the MCs had a grip on the microphone, but these kids were not trained. The same microphone, apart from those who had been used to the microphone, they didn't have that training. Now, at this point, let us talk about hosting. There's a different method of hosting a musical show, which is, oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The next artist is. That's a method of hosting a musical show. Put off that your phone, young man. There is another method of hosting a birthday party or fundraising, which could be the same, like, let's look out. Oh, this time now you could joke and play those tricks. You could touch into personalities, a family issue. You could talk about somebody's shoes, talk about you. That's a different method. There is a method of hosting a TV program. Depending on the psychology, the philosophy, and the editorial policy of that particular TV program, which is, it falls on that. But then, let me go straight to, I didn't come here for hosting training. Let me go straight to the method that is being used to present candidates for that kind of a show, which is also close to the method that is being used to present candidates that win an award, especially when they are two. It is usually framed as poetic, and there's usually the script writer of this thing is usually at the backstage, who fabricates and fixes up. After lots of meetings, who is going to say what and at what time, that we did not see. Everything was created there. I'll give you an example. If you watch it, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is some real surprise. Because first of all, you claim not to know the people. You don't have to know these people. Even if you know them, you're on stage, you're supposed to be neutral. A wonderful guy dressed in the Bamenda wear, and what do you have to say? Usually, a presenter and a journalist introduces, they usually do not have an idea to talk about. That's the mistake we usually do. They give an introduction and you give them the idea. They give you a leeway to give an idea. But if you go now and start giving the idea of who is going to talk, how does it work? So it comes like, they walk on stage from the backstage. It could be the male and the female. The male starts a statement in poetry. The next one finishes it. It's a calm hall, glamour right behind. And coming up next are the first 5 contestants. We hope it's usually like contestants. You are neutral. You're putting glamour. You're trying to be positive. And the next time the person comes in, you know who owns that microphone? It is the contestant. And you know what the contestant can do with that microphone? Sell yourself or fail yourself. Now, the host either failed some of the contestants and caused them tremor, and so their own failure could be blamed now because of organization. But if you give them the microphone and the room, they will either fail themselves or raise themselves. Now let's have the next contestant, who is blah, 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 blah. She comes from the Northwest region. She's done this, that. She went to this school. Now she's an artist. She decides that tonight she wants to join the Big Brother house. Anna, why are you joining? Anna tells you why she is joining, and you tell her it is 2 minutes of your talk. Sell yourself. And after that, you are in the middle. Anna, we wish you the best. God bless you. The next the next person comes up. Well, Anna, from there we're now getting to the north. You remember, you bring up different ideas. This is something that happens throughout the country. I didn't hear this, but this one that Yaoundé, and so after Northwest, we're now taking this one from Yaoundé, who is traveled all. And how do you feel? After that, you put out all this, but that's not what we saw. That's not always what we saw. We had wanted to find out a little bit of their backgrounds, find out a little bit how they've been faring this past 5 days, find out a little bit why, of course, why they came there was the main question. But I just think that this particular problem of hosting was too tedious for the MCs, because the MCs of last night played more than their role for 7 hours, okay, more than 3 hours, because first they were not there, more than their roles, because they were the studio director, they were the studio, no, they were not studio director, that was for TV. They were the stage director, they were the stage managers, they were the ones rushing to bring who was going to come up next. Of course, that's not how it works. They needed to have had a helper behind who just gives the idea, hey, the next person is Azinwi. Azinwi is a student from Bamenda University who graduated. You're taking note. And you know, Azinwi plays the guitar. Azinwi is one of those people who took 10 points in the last advanced level. Azinwi, then now, that's what you get, and that's the immediate thing you get, and the next thing you come. But now they had to go and get this information themselves, and now the studio manager, the stage director gives you all that, and immediately after, the other MC is talking, you now come. Ladies and gentlemen, Azinwi is here. We call him an Azinwi. Oh, brilliant child. We hear she was one of those people who were on top of the ordinary levels of here, and she decided she's got to dance, she decided to join, and wow, we like the idea. It's getting out of hand. People are loving it. Awesome, getting awesome. Sweet words, awesome is the sweetest thing on stage, and you know she is this, and ladies and gentlemen, we have to give her a chance to show her shine. After that, the other MC could be there, and the studio director. Of course, they already have a general plan. This is when maybe they want to get changed. The next one is Moses. Moses is a football player. He played for Bayern Munich junior team, came back to the country. And then, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, would you believe that somebody's leaving Bayern Munich football just to come to the house? Wonderful, splendid footballer, scored this goal, wonderful guy. But today, he says he's coming to the house, and, you know, there is something that's going to happen in that house. I can't wait to get the fire in that house. How will a huge footballer like Moses will be in the house with a huge cook like, nay, we hope this builds the clique. That's what we're expecting. Can't still blame the host. I still tell you people, can't blame the host because they did not have people helping them from behind. I wanted to write this, but I thought that it would be difficult to write. I think I have finished the points here, and I am open for criticism. You know, I've been one of the highest criticized person here when enemies try to fight, and God bless me more instead. This thing is ours. We've gotten to a point that it's not the money. I don't think I'm very poor, but we need to build this thing because it is going to affect the whole show business, especially we who are about to take part, the English-speaking show business people of this environment. This Big Brother thing in other countries involves actors, it involves musicians, it involves makeup artists, designers, it involves everybody. And if this thing fails, all of us have failed. Because if you look at it yesterday, we did not have a major artist. I did not see one major Cameroonian new generation artist there. I did not see it. And the first occasion, Tizi Pancha was there. But yesterday, I did not see any major name. Could it be no negotiation? These artists are not complicated people. A lot of people talk, I meet them daily. It's how to talk to somebody, to lose somebody to get to work with you that we lack. You don't just get to the restaurant and you're eating food and you see Salatiel, an international artist, sitting next to you, and the next meeting you take a picture and say you're from a meeting to negotiate. No artist will take that thing. He came for his meal, you came for your meal, you have a meeting, you put it on Facebook the next day, negotiating with Salatiel for a big show. It doesn't work that way. That's disrespect. Pure disrespect on that artist's personality. How do you get the artist involved in your stuff? Again. But it's a simple thing, a phone call. Bro, you know we are doing this thing. It's our thing. It's 237. We don't have money. You are the one shining now, Papa. I want you, come. Where are you? That's first thing is, where are you? Because you start putting on the phone, the artists already have their mindset, we are stars. And stars like when you subdue to them. I might be a celebrity, but I respect even minor celebrities than myself. Once I hear you have some talent, I go close to you, just the way I start talking, just to encourage you. Part this your song. You build a relationship when you have this kind of project. You have an artistic director. Relationship with all of these people, you list them up. Meet them, tell them your situation. We are growing in this together. No star will refuse. Some will just tell you, prepare me a good table, because even sometimes it's just disrespect. Can I have a bottle of champagne? Can I have a bottle of whiskey mix there? I'm coming with my team. Prepare me that good table. Also prepare me accommodation if I'm coming out of town. Oh, come on, can you take care of my fuel? No artist on his right senses will bill another artist in a different line a lot of money. It's out of experience. Both of you are celebrities, and it's only a matter of discussion and how nice you talk it, then you get an artist involved in your game. So, ladies and gentlemen, I decided not to listen to your comments. I waved them. I didn't want to see negative or positive. I know my people, because I prepared something. I just wanted to talk. And so I'm here on a more positive note. I've been positive, but I want to be more positive. Forget my facial expression. At first, I will woe me. So for the facial thing, it's just my attitude. We have to work, and we have to take our responsibilities. I call on all artists that even if management, we are supposed, all of us, to be the management team of this thing. And when it gets to the big brother 237, we should positively criticize and stand together to work, because it concerns all of us. All our reputations are at stake, We all have to, we need to sit together. When it gets to your tender, they need you, no matter what. Still get there. We hope to see, I know BT Media, well, they will give you beautiful pictures in the house. When they see, when he gives his word, is somebody who likes perfection. They'll give you beautiful pictures. But those small minor things, like there is no food on time, because I can confess what we went through the 5 days here, which were not even problems of not being food, simple communication problems have been your problem too. Is food ready? Can you bring food over? Communication problems, which are coming out from planning, wrong planification, that finally leads to communication problems. You could have all the money for this project, but if you go there, you do not communicate and you do not plan, there's going to be a disaster in the house. If you cannot, for example, the person who is delivering food realize that he's supposed to come at 6 a.m. and he doesn't come at 6 a.m., Biggie, start looking for a means to punish that person. If the person who is supposed to bring lights, or the person who is supposed to come and put a TV on and is not there on time, that person should be punished, because it's going to turn out to a disaster if we cannot measure and handle the communication. I'm talking because I've worked with the management, and the biggest problem has been communication. You do not add ego in the business when you don't have money. This is a starting business that some other people are investing. You do not add ego on it. Ego comes after riches, if it's supposed to come. Ego only comes when your pockets are filled. You do not put ego when you're still looking for partners. You're supposed to be the most humble guy in town now. They're supposed to be the one calling, now we're calling the back. Nobody is excited. We know 237 is down, we want to make it better, but your phone is supposed to be the one to call more people. Today was supposed, by now we are talking. I've seen one letter saying that, okay, you're acknowledging the failures of yesterday, you want to be better. I am one of your sponsors. Your PR was supposed to have called my phone by today. Thanks for coming. We have this next plan. I'm sure if I've not been called, other people have not been called. If I'm a partner, I've not been called. It means other people have not been called. PR service is supposed to be more than 3 people. And you're supposed to have called Yapaki. You're supposed to have called all those other people. Yapaki made the pledge yesterday of $1 million like he did the other time. Have you already started writing the letter of follow-up? So that we write, thank you very much for coming, sir. We just wanted to let you know that with your pledge, this is our bank account. Anytime, feel free to drop the money when you come. If you put that kind of a letter, the money comes within 24 hours, because it's an obligation you're already putting the money into. Reminding him on his words that we made in public. But if we made pledges 6 months ago, and no letter comes, no follow-up comes, the man finally maybe go to Yapaki one day to drink his beer. Yapaki is there enjoying his beer, you go near him, but half of that money, about that meeting. That doesn't work in this kind of an organization. A little letter signed, the editor manager, this. We want you to remind, we want to thank you very much for your this. Sometimes you even go yourself hand over the letter. Thank. Then at the end, in this kind of letters, at the end, you just, after you thank, you write the vision, you talk what has been going on. You say then, just to remind you, sir, that your pledge of $1 million, this is our bank account, and remember this day. You could pay through check or you pay through that's how mobile money, that's how it works. And this is our number. You don't take it because we are very close friends and we sit and drink and you think that is that opportunity that we're sharing a beer that you think you need to bring that kind of idea forth. So we have to get up. We have to get up because this thing has to work. He has no choice. No matter how much we don't do it this year, remember, there's going to be a continuity. If we need to rush out for posterity, continuity must face right now, and preparations for next year got to start right now. For next ever projection, it got to start right now. The hall, we need to start looking on possibilities. If there's the money, let people start looking on how to hire another hall, like the hall they used on that first day. You understand? Yeah, he has to. He has to. Because we didn't have still photographer, all those things we've said here, it is not tomorrow, it is now. Don't take all the other things that are important, that are less important. Take the most important things here. Don't say the things that you think were on your personality that I talked or you guess it were you because I hardly called names. Just work on your own part and build this a strong PRO, public relations, to acknowledge and get to public, relate to you, relate with the people that are trying to support you on daily basis. A strong management, time management disciplinary committee to make sure that timing is okay. If they say this time for stage, the stage starts at that time, take very important PRO timing. And the management of food for those 25 people you have kept at home. If they are hungry, or one day you block people's children and food doesn't come, because I know how the first day they got there, I was called 2 hours to prepare food for a promise I made 6 months and nobody followed up. Don't do this. The least you can do is to give these children food. Swecom will definitely do your coverage, but this is the least. Stock it. Because the biggest problem will come if getting 10 million is not difficult from all the partners you have, the whole of our community. But getting the ambience and the reputation in the house is far more than 10 million. We are focusing on 10 million that could change one person's life or a family's life. But don't forget that there will be management for 25 people for 2 months. There will be bills to be paid, electricity bills, water bills to be paid, soap, groceries. Remember, I just came here on a positive note. I want to sell kwakoko and banga soup. If you happen to be around Douala, come to Ni's Kitchen. Now we have hot eru. You know we give plenty meat. We have kwakoko and banga soup, very plenty. We have tancho soup for those of you who are tested with about 20 slices of canteens, gari, and fufu. We also have achu with beef, kanda, tawel, and we have snails fried in stew and perfumed rice. When show business got so difficult and very critical, and each time one wants to bring an idea, they realize he's an outcast, I decided to cook food. But when I got to food, I know you love me. So come, let's eat. No matter what. Let's eat. I got food for you folks. I'm respected in the kitchen far more than actor or talker here. So let's get to kitchen. Since the kitchen started, my respect has even added amongst my folks in the industry. So come, let's eat. For all of you who came to town yesterday for the show, like Noni, who give you discount 500 francs off. A lot of you were out of town who just came into town for the show yesterday. Bye-bye. I love you. And I came here for a positive game.